maybe I'll just take a brief second before we get to our next prospect or a call to kind of react to Iowa men's basketball and its loss to the Michigan State Spartans. So I've seen a lot of reaction here over the last 12 hours, 15, 16 hours to that loss. And we did not get Coach Close last night. I was not on the air. It's very rare that we don't have a live show, so I don't often do this after the fact. But I've seen a lot of reaction since that game went final about Iowa not having offense, and a lot of reaction toward the officiating. You're not going to get a fair whistle in East Lansing. I tweeted that earlier today. I saw Peyton Sanford like the tweet. I think Peyton Sanford's probably had his fair share of bad calls, bad breaks at Spartan Arena, at the Breslin Center. But you're not going to get a good whistle there. Tom Izzo's going to be in the ear of the officials the entire game. None of the officials ever do anything to stop it. They never give him a technical. We saw him run out of the court last night, giving instructions to a player during the game, right after a whistle was blown. He's out on the court. He never gets warned to stay within his box, to stay behind the line. Iowa lost last night handily, lost by 19. Bennett Sturtz struggled. You listen to Ben McCollum after the fact. McCollum was very bullish on his team. He's a confident dude. We know that. I still am in this phase where I'm like, yeah, this team is not the most talented. This Iowa team is not going to be the most athletic, the most talented. But I believe in Ben McCollum's ability to get the most out of his guys. And I don't think what we saw last night was the most out of his guys. And they got to find a way to rebound better. You can't get doubled up on the glass. That's something Iowa's been pretty good at this season, although not against great competition. Michigan State might be the best team in the Big Ten. I mean, it's Michigan State, it's Michigan, it's Purdue. Indiana's really good. The league is deep. Illinois is good. I hope people can kind of just recognize the circumstances and recognize they were on the road at perhaps the best team in the league last night, and realize what McCollum said after the fact is true. This might be a good thing that you get exposed early, because they're going to have a lot of tape to look at. It was interesting, his explanation. If you didn't hear the press conference, I'd encourage you to go back and listen to Ben McCollum from last night. He talked about not being able to get to that second action. So against Ole Miss was switching on every ball screen. And so then you're playing mismatches the whole game. And it's interesting because we had the live show at Big Grove Brewery in Omaha for the Grand Canyon game. And I was sitting there with a couple of Hawkeye fans watching the game, and that was a comment that was made by me during the game. It's like, wow, this offense looks different than it did prior to the trip out to California. Like, it doesn't look as good, doesn't look as smooth. They weren't scoring as many points. Obviously, they only scored, in the 50s against Grand Canyon. Maybe they hit 60, but they held them down defensively. You're going to be able to win that way against average to even slightly above average teams. McCollum brought that up last night. But against the best teams, you have to get out of that mode of this one-dimensional thinking. And it's just interesting how McCollum explained how what they had to adjust to with Ole Miss seems to have spilled over into the last couple of performances. So by what he was saying last night, it sounds like he wasn't real happy with the offense against Grand Canyon. He was not. I think he used the word abysmal or inept last night against Michigan State. So he expects better. Don't expect this offense to be the offense we see the rest of the year. Bennett Sturtz was shut down. McCollum was quick to bring up, like, a lot of that was us. You give credit to Jeremy Fears for playing solid individual defense on Sturtz, but there will be better times ahead. They started with a bear. They're going to win their fair share of games. Last night's result does not affect my evaluation of this team and my hopes for an NCAA tournament berth. I still think they're going to get there because I believe in McCollum's style. I believe in his coaching style. I believe his style fits a rebuild. So I think because they're going to rebound really well on most nights and defend really well, they're going to beat most of the teams below, average, mid-tier and less. And then I think they'll knock off a couple of people. But I just think we just need to recognize, sometimes we just overreact to the moment. They're 7-1. No, they haven't played a real difficult schedule, but last night's loss does not hurt them. And the fact that they got exposed, when you have a really good coaching staff, you have a really good head man, and you have good guard play, which they do, they have hope because it was early. I'd rather get exposed now than in early March. So hopefully I'm explaining that as well as I plan to, but I just kind of wanted to give my 2 cents, my thoughts on that game last night. But they do got to figure out the glass. They got to rebound better than they did And, it doesn't help when you're getting called for ticky-tack fouls. It's amazing how teams like Michigan State, when they go on the road, are allowed to dictate physicality. But Iowa comes to East Lansing, tries to dictate physicality, and basically they're said, no, you can't do that. So don't get it, other than Tom Izzo's got the officials wrapped around his finger, as he always has. Let's go to our phone line. Thank you for calling from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Who's on the line?
Lomansky, Corey. Thanks for taking my call.
Hey, Lomansky, how are you?
Good. I'll be brief on the basketball comment because you said everything that I was thinking about saying. You're probably giving feedback on people's reaction to the loss. The Breslin Center and that coaching staff at Michigan State is the Bobby Knight of Indiana years back. I don't care what period or coach Iowa had. When you go to the Breslin Center, whether it was Judd Heathcote or today's coaching staff, it's just harder than hell to win there. So I kind of smiled after that game because I love how Jan post games give you information, and it's refreshing to have Ben's post game review. I enjoyed Fran's tenure, but I didn't listen to Fran's post game. They were all the same. It was generic. It was.
Well, sometimes,
so we're blessed to have Jan and Ben giving us a review.
Lomansky, you know this. There were times where Fran, he didn't even want to go to a post game, and he just wouldn't give you anything. I mean, he would give you one-word responses. So I wish Fran the best as well. But I agree, and I was thinking this earlier as well. Like, as I listened to Ben McCollum, because I wasn't up in East Lansing. It's not like I was at the press conference. But when I listened to Ben post game, I was thinking that was really refreshing to hear. And I don't remember what was the term he used. Drastically, he said we're going to get drastically better. Or you remember the term that was used in the post game presser, Lomansky? It was something. It's very strong verbiage. He exudes confidence. So maybe one of two things: either he's just a big talker, and I don't want to call him a manipulator because he's not that. He's not trying to manipulate. But either he's just a really good talker and a coach speak guy, and he's just going to say the right things to get people to rally, or he's just really smart and he's a really good basketball coach. I think we know what the answer is. He's a really good basketball coach. He's proven that. So I do. I mean, until he's really given me reason to not have faith that he can get this moving, even this season, I still believe this team can be good. I don't know that last night proves anything other than welcome to the Big Ten.